The G and the OG, the third episode of Tulsa King Season 3, keeps the tension and stakes high before Dwight and Jeremiah Dunmire, the major bad of the current series, face up. Episode 3 of Tulsa King Season 3 demonstrated that the show can still strike a balance between some of its trademark lighter moments and the rise in action and graphic mob violence, in contrast to Episode 2, which established a far darker tone for the series than ever before. In order to take care of some personal business for the Dickhead FBI Agent Musso, Dwight has traveled by automobile after a ridiculously funny scenario in which he pulls a gun on a self-driving car. It's intriguing and a little perplexing to watch the two nearly become friends. Dwight acknowledges that being an informant is the worst thing one could be in the world of gangs. Surprisingly, Dwight told a Texas police officer he was an FBI agent during a traffic check in order to get Musso off a speeding penalty. Some of the humorous moments weren't the most logical to the plot, even though these scenes did provide some much-needed lightness in Tulsa King Season 3, which is becoming darker and more brutal with every episode. In S3E3, Tulsa King's considerably darker tone soars to new heights. The extent to which Tulsa King Season 3 is developing its plot through a variety of supporting characters instead of the majority of the action being focused on like in the first two seasons, Dwight. However, it also demonstrates that some of Dwight's wildcard crew members might become overly enthusiastic when he becomes engrossed and is unable to call every shot. This season, Tyson has gained confidence, but when he faced Cole, Dunmire's unyielding son, his reckless ambition overcame him. While being thrashed by Cole's thugs, Tyson had his moment, laughing uncontrollably at the idea that he would ever turn on Cole. Finally, when an innocent life was on the line, he did, and in the dead of night, the whole secret supply of Montague's rare bourbon was stolen. In the first two seasons, Cole and his father would both be formidable standalone antagonists of Tulsa King, but they pose the greatest threat in the history of the series since they are cooperating against Dwight. I'd be shocked if Dwight didn't lose one of his crew members or, worse, a loved one as a result of these heightened antagonists. At her worst, Chicky is made to appear like a bother by the Dunmires. Furthermore, Cleo, the newcomer, is an untamed force in her own right, performing donuts on Dunmire's lawn and coming within a half-second of lighting fire to his front door. Cleo's grudge against Dunmire is the most personal of all, and she will probably be seeking for blood with or without Dwight's help, even though Mitch establishes the fundamentals of what it means to be a member of Dwight's group. Blessing. Tulsa King's morale drops after Cole attacks Tyson. In Tulsa King Season 3, Jay will plays Tyson, who is standing in front of an O. Similar like Dwight, previous villains competed for dominance and territory. Many threats and intimidation techniques were used, but nothing ever came of them. To blows. We thought that Tulsa King was going to get much worse because the Season 3 premiere ended with a man and his house burning alive, but I must admit that I'm shocked that it's becoming this dark, especially at the beginning. Tyson's survival is solely due to the stainless steel Cybertuck's resistance to 9mm shots, which is accurate, incidentally. The perverse, racially motivated joy with which Cole's men fired those weapons created an unprecedented opportunity for the overt hatred displayed against Tyson. His character gains a completely new dimension as a result, one that should be more beneficial than detrimental. The upcoming Tulsa King episode might spark a conflict that could result in a carnage now that the Dunmires possess Montague's whole supply, which is valued at tens of millions. Tulsa King may be becoming darker than ever after 3 episodes, but the increased intensity is making this season the most exciting and suspenseful yet. This is because there are so many personalities and forces at play. When will The Smashing Machine by Dwayne Johnson be available for streaming? Written by Tim Lammers. Agent Musso, who debuted in Season 3, Episode 1, is portrayed by Kevin Pollak. Before the mob capo spent his 25-year prison sentence for murder, Musso and Dwight Manfredi had a history together. Now, Musso is requesting Dwight's help with the federal government. There are 10 episodes in Tulsa King Season 3. Through November 23, Sylvester Stallone's Tulsa King Season 3 will air new episodes on Paramount Plus every Sunday. For those without access to Paramount Plus, the platform provides the ad-supported Paramount Plus Essential tier, $7.99 per month, and the ad-free Paramount Plus Premium tier, $12.99 per month. Tim Lammers's new film, The Conjuring, Last Rites, is available for streaming this week. When Jeremiah sees Dwight in his bar and casino at the end of the episode, he informs him that he must destroy all he has built and everyone he loves, piece by piece and limb by limb, due to his family's legacy. Dwight replies by stating that he promises to take away Jeremiah's entire empire and acknowledges that he is terrified. Jeremiah gives Dwight a vague but menacing death threat before leaving the pub and casino. How many episodes does Netflix's true crime series, Monster, The Ed Gein Story, have? Written by Tim Lammers. In the meantime, Bodie, Martin Starr, runs into his friend Jimmy's killer again, who works for Bill. Bodie promises to make the killer's life worse by cloning his cell phone so he can control everything he does. He tells his associate Grace, McKenna Quigley Harrington. Dwight sees his Season 2 adversary, Cal Thresher, Neil McDonough, who is set to become the next governor of Oklahoma, to make preparations for the future. Dwight reminds Cal that he is the largest of them. Jeremiah sends Cole and one of his men to kill Mitch in an attempt to coerce Dwight into making a deal, but they are unsuccessful when Cleo uses a knife to cut open Cole's arm as he reaches for a gun. Jeremiah uses a hot iron poker to cauterize Cole's knife wound rather than sending him to the hospital as a punishment for his failure. The cast of Monster, The Ed Gein Story, on Netflix is shown here. Written by Tim Lammers. In order to bottle the product that would be sold under the name, The 50, Cleo assists Dwight in restarting the distillery's machinery. However, in order to mend the pipework, Tyson's, Jay Wood, plumber father, Michael Beach, must assist. At first, Mark tells Tyson that he doesn't want to help because of Dwight's criminal history, but he later changes his mind after hearing from his wife, Angie, Juliet Jeffers, that the position would allow Mark to monitor their kid. Dwight and his men go to Walden Eustace, played by Jason Warner Smith, for assistance in getting the whiskey distributed, but he tells them that he can't help them because he only distributes Jeremiah's liquor. Later, Jeremiah's men severely assaulted Walden for just having Dwight visit. Bill Bevilacqua, Frank Grillo, Dwight's Kansas City mob partner, is then called in because he has the transportation capacity and a sizable workforce to complete the job. Bill doesn't like the percentage, but he seems to agree with the amount of money he will receive for assisting Dwight's booze operation. Then, Dwight's former mob rival from New York City, Vince, played by Vincent Piazza, calls Bill and offers to help him in Kansas City. The meeting at the distillery. At the distillery, Dwight calls a meeting of the team to talk about the continuous threat they face. Except for Chloe, who is occupied with real estate offers for her late father's burned-out house, everyone is there. Joanne maintains that bottling the Montague 50 should be their top priority. The mission of Musso. Musso reminds Dwight of his restricted options and gives him an abrupt order to report to a specified address. It's odd to Joanna that Musso won't just send Goody. Dwight is driven by Bigfoot to a self-driving automobile that is waiting. Dwight draws his revolver in a hurry when the car won't open, unintentionally turning on the sound system before shooting into the console. He is enraged by the time he gets to Musso. Musso dismisses it with a laugh and makes a joke about whether he should arrest Mitch or Margaret first. According to Musso, they are traveling to Texas in order to deal with Dexter Deacon, popularly referred to as the Watchmaker, a contract assassin who kills anyone for a fee and has no morals. He assures Dwight that he will blend in perfectly and refers to the trip as a team-building exercise. With Texas's thugs and firearms. Tyson's strategy. Bodie and Goody are keen to resume their job once they return to Tulsa, but Tyson insists on looking into Cole. Desp.